Welcome to School's Out 80s Comedy Story Time.
Hey everybody, welcome to School's Out 80s Comedy Storytime. Got a really special guest today coming to you all the way from Long Island, New York. Sal Ranella, say howdy to the folks out there in La La Land.
Howdy, everybody. Guess what? We're in the show with Big John from Texas. Thank you,
Excellent.
John.
Love it.
I love it.
Love it, Sal. Well, you know, the name of the show is School's Out 80s Comedy Storytime. So it's all about like finding out about you and funny stories about you, particularly during school. So if you could, man, take us back to high school and tell us like, anything that like sticks out in your mind in high school that our listeners would be interested in.
You know, high school was very interesting. First of all, that's when I got into Kiss big time.
Okay.
And you're wearing the shirt, and me and other buddies are wearing the same shirt.
Sure.
And that's when girls would go, Kiss. We were the scorn of high school. But you know, by the time you get out of high school, Kiss then releases albums like Animalize and stuff like that. And Kiss,
right.
In high school, I really didn't cut out of school much, but then at some point in I guess senior year, we cut out, and guys stole the fire hydrant, and we used to love to go to this record shop by the school.
Okay.
You know, and you can get a lot of cool, Mr. Cheapos, get a lot of cool stuff. And I guess they stole the fire hydrant, and we're like by the overpass, and everyone's yelling, Harvey, just like in the Honeymooners. I really didn't realize until lately that when they were screaming Harvey, it's from the Honeymooners. You imagine these young rockers. All these guys look like rockers, long hair. I didn't really hang out with, in the beginning of high school, I didn't hang out with the kids from my neighborhood.
Right.
Because they were more with the DA. They were all trying to be James Dean or something.
Okay.
I hung out with the kids in Flushing, where my high school was, because they were more of the rocker dudes and they loved Kiss. But we did some kooky stuff. We'd cut out and go to the record shop and try to find some cool stuff, something like that.
Yeah.
I think it's too early in the morning to remember it. You might have to prompt me.
And, no, it's all good. So
I should have brought my notes.
No, it's all good. It's all good. So, so you got the fire extinguisher. So somebody got a fire extinguisher from the high school.
Yep. And we posed with it. I still have the picture somewhere.
Okay.
If you can imagine that. It's I don't think
what are you doing with the fire extinguisher?
Just a prop. I think that's where everything started, where acting and music all came together. David Bowie was acting and doing music. You learn to be a chameleon from these guys. But what happens is it's a prop to be, look at me, look what I can conquer, look what I can take.
Yeah.
It's like Gene Simmons with his bass, or more or less, I think Gene Simmons with his codpiece in front of his pelvic thrust. So he can go, hey, look at me. Hey, Hunter, I'm the craziest guy in rock and roll land,
Right. So that's wild, though. So they just took it.
I think
did you guys get in trouble?
Not really, but I think the most interesting things that did happen in high school is somebody put the intro to You Really Got Me, Eruption over the loudspeaker.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah,
funny.
that is pretty funny, man.
Yeah.
That was like, I guess, a game changer in rock and roll.
Oh yeah. So when you were in high school, did you guys ever skip class?
We skipped, hang out with your girlfriend. I wasn't a druggie. I didn't really drink. I mean, there was maybe once or twice you have a beer or something.
Yeah, yeah,
Most
yeah.
of the time it was just to get out because it was a nice day. You in New York, winters suck. SUXXX,
Right, right.
where you're in prison. I mean, school
Yeah.
from September to the first week in May, where it starts getting nice, and you're like, you're with this coat. You're like walking the streets. You're trying to get to school. Sometimes I'd walk the few miles home,
Yeah.
but the truth of the matter is, you cut out so you can hang out with your girlfriend, the guys. Some guys are really cool. There was one guy
Sure.
in the crew that was like 6'1" or 6'2", like cool guy, ladies man. You're
Uh-huh.
like, hey man, if I can hang out with these guys, you know what I'm saying? People think I'm cool too. I think
Right.
80 years later, nobody cares but me.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
You go
funny.
through the whole thing. I mean, high school's this moment in time, right?
Yeah.
And what happens is the moment in time is, you can't go to high school and tell people. I mean, some people, I guess, they stop telling people they like Kiss. Like when I was in college,
Hmm.
I found out everybody in the theater group loved Kiss, but they wouldn't admit it publicly. They're like, oh, I got
Right.
to put that away.
Right.
And I guess by the time you get to high school, you can't tell people you like comic books and baseball cards and Saturday morning cartoons, right?
Right. Exactly. No, that's
Yep.
interesting.
I
So,
think one of the most interesting things in high school was when
yeah.
the Rolling Stones' "Let's Spend the Night Together" came out, and we're
Hmm.
all like, "Hey, let's go see it." And we all walked down Main Street. Main Street's a real famous street in New York and Queens.
Hmm.
Pretty much our high school's on one end, Flushing High School's on the other end, and it's right by the famous RKO Theater. It's gorgeous. I mean, you would think Charlie Chaplin movies premiered there. Some developers knocked it down in spite of it being you know a famous place and getting
Yeah.
the plaque and all that stuff. So we got in, and they let us in from somebody let us in from the back,
Okay.
and we got to watch Rolling Stones. I mean, at that time, I don't think we could afford to go concerts. We went to a few concerts.
Oh yeah.
Back then, they were like $12 tickets or
Right.
less.
Yep.
But I guess we all had the money to go into the theater, but they let us in. The guy goes, anytime you want to come in. And of course, at some point, they chased us out. That's the fun of being a young kid in high school. It's this moment in time, frozen forever, no
Right.
matter how old you are. And
Yep.
some of our friends are still in that mode of like, hey, I might have not been the cool kid, but thanks to hair transplants, Botox, and some other things, I am a cool kid still. You might remember my face. Hey, even though it looks like Mickey Rourke after his plastic surgery, I'm still that cool kid. Right now, I look like Mickey Rourke on a bad day.
Well, not you, but man, some of them might look like Mickey Rourke after what, the motorcycle accident, like before the
I
plastic
don't know if
surgery.
did he have a motorcycle accident or a lot of
Something.
boxing and coke?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like he completely changed his look. One day he is like this rugged, good-looking actor. The next day he looks like a Mack truck hit him.
Yeah, isn't that weird, bro?
Oh my
It's
God.
so weird. I mean, the guy went from being one of the hottest actors, like the next James Dean, Marlon Brando, using the
Yeah.
same similar type of method, like Rebel Without a Cause,
Yeah.
method acting, and then next thing you know, the guy looks like a Frankenstein. You know, everybody praises the wrestler, but it's so hard to watch because his face looks like it's melting off. Right
Right.
now, right now, I'm like you. I want to move to Albuquerque, get myself a cowboy hat, and you know, spurs, and I just want to walk around town. I want people to say, "Who's that cowboy?"
Yeehaw, buddy. Yeehaw.
You know, Yeah, I think that's what high school was about. You wanted to be the guy that there was like the one guy wore the army jacket. Uh, that's when people were wearing on the backs of their denim jackets. The wall.
Pink Floyd.
Rainbow, Black Sabbath,
Yep, yep.
and you know, high school was great memories, man. The '80s were great memories because those cute high school movies, they were a little bit nerdish, the guys and gals, or the guys were always chasing a sexy girl,
Hey, talk to me.
Porky.
So man, I gotta believe in high school you went to some guy-girl parties. Am I right?
Not so much, a few, yes, not as
Yeah.
much as you would think. I guess.
Did you guys ever bear down on like some girl's house, like their parents are out of town, and now you guys are over at her house, you and your buddies?
A few, and then you get a little crazy, throw eggs around.
A little leg throwing, I got you.
Yeah, stuff like that. One time it happened when I was dating my girlfriend, and this is in the '80s,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
her sister just told everybody at the high school, "Hey, by the way, my parents are out. Come on over." And it
Okay.
turned into a free for all. Since I was the older kid, and I'm like, I'm using the house so I can score my girl with the sister who's a little older.
Uh-huh.
So I had to turn into the bodyguard, security, and stop people from coming in because they were all coming in and rummaging through the house. And
Ouch.
yeah, I don't think that was a good thing.
Was that in Queens?
Long Island,
Oh, okay.
Seaford, Long Island. If I should give
Okay.
away the secret.
Anything get broken?
Not really.
That's good.
Not too bad.
Hey, I got to tell you about a party that happened when I was in college. So they wanted me to have a little get together, supposedly like me, two other guys, 6 guys total, no girls, 6 guys, and a keg of beer, right? Sal, it started out by the swimming pool. By the time it was done, there was on the property, and it wasn't my property, it was my neighbor's property, but they gave me license to have, me and 5 other guys over it was a rush party for the fraternity. I kid you not, Sal, there were 300 plus people.
Wow.
I mean, it was like something out of a movie. I'm sitting
Dazed
there.
Confused, like the movie Dazed and Confused.
It was wild, man. I'm saying that, like, I don't even, like, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have Facebook. Right. How it got around that this was a party that was going on. The keg of beer got everybody's attention. And
wow.
And it was by the pool, and it was during the summer, so everybody was off school and work and whatever. I'm sitting around the side of the pool by some rocks with some other people, and we're relieving ourselves because you do that when you drink. And while I'm doing it, this guy's like, "Man, this is such a great party, man. I can't believe like the cops haven't come yet." He goes, "I have no idea who's having this party." And I'm sitting there and I'm like, "Dude, I'm having this party."
Oh,
and
wow.
Who are you? I don't know you at all.
Oh, wow.
But I was a cool kid, so I let
him. Well, the difference is you were in Texas. It's like the movie Dazed and Confused. Right. You got all these kids. In Queens, we were the misfits. Nobody wanted to be around us. I think we invented the word sausage party, sadly. A lot of times we climb the fence at community or people's pools and climb the fence and jump in the pool in our underwear. And people would yell out the window. It depends where. I mean, we did it in Astoria Park. There's no homes around. But when we did it in Forest Hills, right across the street from, right a few blocks from where we lived, or across the street from the Long Island Expressway, people would open the windows because it was late at night, and they would scream, "Shut up, get out of there," because the pool was closed. Or sometimes ants would climb all over us, and we'd be like, get in the pool.
Right.
Midnight. We shouldn't be doing that, but you're stretching yourself without incriminating myself, John.
Yeah,
you're stretching yourself because your parents now allowing you to stay out past 9, past 9:30, past 10, past 10:30, 11, and so that's when crazy action like that starts happening, and you start doing these things because you see it in the movies, and you want to stretch yourself, and also At some point, you might say, "Hey, I might be a writer one day."
Right, right.
So, you could only create if you live. I mean, if you sit on a bench, you could write if you watch. If you sat on this bench for a week or 2 or 3 weeks, or sat in a bar, you could write something. You could write everything you see, right?
Yeah.
But I think when you do it, it's more exciting. You know,
Oh,
I
absolutely.
I would say so. You know,
No, absolutely. Hey, Sal,
yeah.
I want to take this just a tad bit different direction because we were talking about high school and everything. But man, you've lived an amazing life, and you've been able to meet some very famous people. And but what people don't know about you is like you're a semi-professional bass player.
You could say that again. I probably don't put as much time as I should. You know what happens is, to, you get to a spot where you're comfortable, right?
Right.
This is my this is my zone, and I was practicing last night a little bit. But if I'd really practiced the way I should, you got to remember, I came from Queens. We
Hmm.
were super misfit kids.
Right.
We didn't fit any group. So most of the group we fit in was the kids that would just jam in the basement and just play Wild Thing, Louie Louie, A Little Kiss, simple songs
Hmm.
just to say we played. And that's the weird thing. Had we really put our energy to it, we'd probably take it to the next level. But uh, it was a whole psychological thing where we felt like we were, at least I did, I
Hmm.
was cut out from the cool kids. And bass actually opened the door. If I say some kids around me, and one of my siblings, I only have one, but without giving too much away, you know, she discovered clarinet. And when she discovered boys, she put that clarinet away. When I discovered girls, I picked up that bass because, now it's like I got something to do that they can check me out if you want to know.
Yeah.
But bass playing has been an extension of my personality for many years. Even though I do play guitar or a little drums, but not enough to say anything.
No, no. Well,
It's not,
your bass
not
playing led you on stage with this ultra famous guitar player, and
Yep.
I gotta believe that when you're opening for an ultra famous guitar player, I mean, you got to have like the worst stage fright that you've ever had.
A little bit, a little bit. I know. I'm gonna tell you. Uh, you having a little anxiety. You're nervous. You're thinking, what's gonna happen? Does anybody care about us or them more
Right.
than them? So the truth of the matter is, once we started, I got in the groove because I open up with this lick that I start off, boom, almost like Love Machine from Wasp meets Love Gun. And so
Yep.
that's like our instantaneous intro to the people mixed with a little bit of a sound check. So I know right away where my volume is and
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
my rhythm. Sadly, the rest of the guys in my band all took a crap in their pants that night because they let their nervousness out. I I took to the stage and I put on this persona that's a little bit like, at the time I loved Nikki Sixx,
Yeah.
Blackie Lawless, and Gene Simmons. So that was kind of my persona. I had the longer black hair, eyeliner,
What was your
whatever.
band's name, Sal?
Vamp. V
Vamp.
A M P. And interestingly enough, in the first song, I actually do a bass solo that's a mixture of my generation meets like Making Love from Kiss. Because the
Nice.
fellow
Okay,
we opened up
Sal.
for was Ace Frehley of
I'm
Kiss.
gonna put this up here so that
Yep,
my
that
listeners can they
oh,
can
it
see.
came off.
Yeah, yeah. And it's kind of hard to do this, but
No, it's, you saw it on the first second. Yes, Ace Frehley of Kiss. That's Paul Daniel Frehley, one of my musical heroes. And afterwards, we got to hang out backstage. We gave him some gifts.
yeah, tell
Yeah.
us about that, man. What was that like? I mean, you're sitting there with Ace Frehley.
Subliminal, because it's like you grew up with this guy. Actually, the truth of the matter, I'm going to make you laugh,
Uh huh.
is that a year earlier, right? A year earlier,
Yeah.
I went to Ace Frehley's opening. He had a premiere for his art. He does
Yeah.
computer generated art. He goes to me, "Who are you?" I said, "I think in a year you'll find out." And I got to tell you, in a year I got a phone call. Do you want to open up for Ace Frehley? And we did. Isn't that like surreal? It's like out
Yeah.
of a movie. Though
What
we
year
didn't
was that?
conquer. What's that?
What year was that approximately?
93 when I met him the first. I mean, I've met him before, but
Yeah.
maybe that was the first time I might have met him. And he goes, "Who are you?" Because I had the long hair, dressed because it's an art gallery. Nobody looks like him, but me, right? Everyone
Yeah.
else is just a housewife or somebody. So then, long story short, a year later, I get a phone call. Would you like to open up for him? And I was like, okay, cool. Who wouldn't want to open up for their hero? And
That's
so backstage,
random.
we gave gifts. I had a guy on my team who made etchings on mirrors.
Yep.
So we gave like some etchings, and we got some autographs. Hung out with him.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
anytime
here's
you
what
can
the
meet
guys
your
want to know
hero.
that are listening to this, Sal. You're hanging out with Ace Frehley of Kiss from the 70s. He is a notorious partier. It's early 90s. I got to believe he hadn't stopped partying. So talk to
I
me.
don't think he stopped partying. First of all, he'd just come off a stage playing for 2.5 hours, and he was probably he was a lot younger guy. So
Yeah.
he's like late 30s, early 40s, maybe.
Yeah.
And his body, so he's a lot younger, but he definitely looked like he was under some influence. And so he's a
Did
little
you see
burnt
him
out
down in some
playing.
drinks?
What's that?
Did you see him down in some drinks or milking a beer coming on stage or anything?
No, I don't know.
No.
I think he does everything privately, maybe.
Ah,
And I didn't say, "Hey, can I get you a drink?" I figured he didn't look too good,
yeah.
Can I ask you something? Are we picking up that guy behind me?
No, no.
Okay, good, because there's a guy behind me talking on the phone. He probably thinks I'm talking on the phone, but doesn't realize I'm being interviewed.
Hey, tell him. Hey, tell him if he does get into frame, he's not getting paid.
All right. Tell him. All right, hold on a second. Sir, if you get in frame, you're not getting paid. I'm getting interviewed on a show. Yeah, sorry. And maybe you could stand a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and tell him he has to sign an NDA.
Hey, that's true, right? You know, um, at some point, when I move out, I'm gonna have to set up a studio. It's been, this is between you and me, all the things you're dealing with in life, and we've already talked about that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I've persevered from all the shenanigans going on in my life, because there's been a lot of outside influences. We're lucky we're here today because there's so many things uh, since the '80s that could have stopped. A lot of our friends passed.
I know, dude.
Yeah, it's
Many of the
crazy.
people I hung out with are no longer with us, family
Yep.
members, and you know, it.
Oh yeah.
If you survived the '80s, that's an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Hey, Sal,
You know,
we got something really funny to talk about because this is deja vu, isn't it? Like this isn't the first time you've been on Schools Out '80s. So why hasn't it been on YouTube already?
well, because it didn't get recorded. No.
How did it not get recorded?
Remember the last time we tried this a few weeks ago with your partner?
Yeah.
It didn't get.
So we sat here, you and I, on a Saturday for like an hour and a half with Don, and we had a great show and everything, and it was really funny. And there was one person that was involved that made an idiotic mistake, and it was me.
Next time, hit record.
The only mistake was I
Right.
figure I got to be like that sales warrior / entrepreneur warrior that you take everything you loved in the '80s,
Yep.
right? Comic books, those cool '80s movies, um, music, posters, and you create something with it. I mean, at some point, like Hulk Hogan, big '80s phenomenon,
Right.
has his own shop. He has a few shops. Hulk Hogan's Surf Shop. And at some point, I'm gonna have the Sal Ranella rock and roll shop or something. I could sell all the rock and roll cool memorabilia that I want to sell.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Sal, I mean,
So
we sat and did a show for an hour and a half, and we get done with it, and I realized that I didn't press record. You got to bust me a little bit about that.
listen, John, the only way I'm going to bust you, the only reason I'd bust you is I was 3 weeks younger. So 4 weeks younger. So
Right. You're a kind,
my
kind
dimples,
man.
my dimples probably were a little more prominent. I never
Right.
noticed my dimples till the 80s. I have maybe one or two. I didn't even think I had any. But I'll
Dude,
tell
you
you
got great
something.
dimples, man. Thumbs
Thank
up
you.
on the
Thank you.
dimples.
I know. I never noticed them till I was about 7. In the
If I was a
80s when I
chick,
was.
I'd date you, Sal. I'm not a
Thank you.
chick,
Thank
but
you.
if I was, I'd date you.
I gotta tell you, in the 80s, that's when things started to, I went from an ugly duckling to okay. I started dating like I'd say more or less in the last year of high school. That's
Yeah.
when I started having dates. And first, I would say, the last year of high school, first year of college, I probably had more dates than ever. I mean, you date, you're a kid. What
Right.
do you know, right? You want to have a friend, a gal, pal, to go to the movies, have lunch,
Sure.
all that cool stuff. Innocent days. Now those days are a little behind us, and it's time to instill them in your kids or the next generation. I hate to sound like
Absolutely.
I'm retiring, but even Rocky, two of the biggest movies from the '80s, Rocky 3, Rocky 4. The thing is, at some point, you gotta be the manager and pass on your knowledge to the next generation. If I make any sense.
Absolutely. Well, so I want to take this a little bit more of a different direction because, like, the people that have been in your life, like most people would dream about the life you've led because,
Mhm.
like me growing up, as a country boy right outside of Kansas City, Missouri, um, I didn't get a chance to meet famous people, particularly
Right.
like, meet famous people before they were actually famous. But like,
Right.
hopefully this comes in really good. Tell everybody, man, like you knew Madonna before Madonna was Madonna.
Well, I don't know if I knew her before, but I saw her once because my
But you
friend
weren't
Mike says,
famous
"Hey,
when you met her.
no, no, no." My friend Mike says, "Look at her. Look at Madonna." She lived on the same street I lived. I actually moved a few blocks away, and she moved in. And my friend Mike goes, "You play bass, and she needs a bass player." Imagine what would have been. But uh, I don't even think I owned a bass. I was a super shy virgin little boy,
Right?
and I ran away. And it's funny, right? I mean, there's a few
Yeah.
people I knew before they were famous. Chris Angel. There's a few people. I
So,
mean,
but talk more
I
about
mean,
Madonna. People don't like
I mean,
Sal's
she's from
house that he
Michigan.
grew up in. What was it? Two houses away, Madonna was living with their band
Yeah,
Breakfast Club.
interesting thing. She was in a band called the Breakfast Club. She came
Mhm.
to New York from Michigan. Dancer, somewhat singer. She meets up with these guys and she becomes the drummer, part-time singer. And at some point, she keeps breaking up, moving along, finding other musicians, and then she became the great Madonna. Matter of fact, her band, Breakfast Club, actually, after she left them
Yeah.
with a boyfriend from Michigan, they released and had a great song. They had a big hit later,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's interesting times. You watch these people and you see the thing is Madonna, Chris Angel, Kiss, Bon Jovi. I mean, I can tell you, there's a lot of bands I saw before they hit it, because there's a lot of bars and clubs here.
Yeah.
But the thing is, these guys all had dedication. I mean, I know we want to give like the '80s or loosey goosey,
Yeah.
anything goes. Somebody had to put the time in.
So before Chris Angel, let's talk more about Madonna. So how old were you when you first met or saw Madonna in Queens?
Say 14.
Okay, so you're 14, you just went through puberty, you're seeing Madonna. How was Madonna dressed?
like a chick from the Lower East Side, from the Bowery. She
Like,
doesn't look like
uh-huh.
the the famous gal that you know now.
Like
She just looked
jeans, ripped up shirt.
like a, probably a jeans with a skirt over it, black ripped T-shirt. She was like a street urchin, which would be a cool name for a Lower East Side band. You know, street urchin.
Did you
Which
think
back
she might
then,
be like a prostitute?
hey, listen,
But what I
yeah,
want to
edit
know is
that out.
like, so you're seeing, I mean, you're a 14, like you said, virginal young man. You're she is just, I mean, that's crazy, man. Like, and she becomes world famous. And you are like right there, Sal.
Right
Like you
there,
were
yeah.
right there. This was
Maybe if it
before.
was a year later and I played a little bit, I would have said sure. But you know what happened from 14 to 17, 18? Whenever I would say, yeah, I'm a bass player, let's jam,
Yeah.
that's what it was. I really didn't know what I was doing, or I was trying to mix my own viewpoint of, I don't know. I
So
mean, she
did you
probably
say
needs
hello to
something.
Madonna? Did you like walk up and say, hey?
Not really. I just, he go, like she could might have been as far as that tree.
Yeah.
And my friend Mike's like, say, right here. And he's like, there's Madonna. She needs a bass player. You're a bass player. Even though he was a better bass player than me, I don't know why he didn't try to jam with them. That would have been a much better thing. I remember going to his house a few years
Yeah.
later, and like in the early '80s, when Motley Crue was out, he could play Motley Crue, and he could play Rush.
Yeah. 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 So, Sal,
Listen,
like, so you're sitting there, like your house is right next to Madonna's house she was living in with the Breakfast Club. Do you ever see her like walk outside and smoke a cigarette?
nope.
Nope.
Matter
Did
of fact, I rarely saw anybody from that place except when we were a little younger.
you? Mm-hmm.
There was a guy, Jimmy, in there. I guess it was Jimmy. Maybe
Yeah.
it was one of the guys that she dated or hung out with, or whatever. He had this really cool green Jeep, and he would give my friend Brian and me some rides just for fun. He
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
talk
Yeah.
to us, but he was like, he let us in one time, and just like in the movies or in the documentary where they showed where Madonna was jamming,
Yeah.
that's exactly. This was a synagogue, or actually a Jewish school. The synagogue was actually around the block where Estee Lauder used to, and other uh, people of the Jewish faith kept their high holy days.
Right.
This at one point was a Jewish school in
Mm-hmm.
maybe the early 1900s, when
Okay.
it may have been a Jewish neighborhood for a bit, or at least a Jewish block. When I grew up on that block, 53rd Avenue in Corona,
Yeah. Yeah.
it
Yeah.
had, or at least it looked like we had a lot of kids. Every house had kids that we became friends with that influenced some of the crazy stuff we're doing today.
Interesting. So, Chris Angel, you hadn't told me that before. Where did you meet Chris?
Well, I used to manage the Brothers Music Store in Levittown, New York,
Okay.
not far from where Billy Joel came from. So
Yeah.
there was a lot of musicians that would come in and out of there. But Bruce, uh, Chris Angel was the brother of the owner of the music store. So
Oh,
I was not only the manager of the music store, I was the manager of the studio upstairs. And so
okay.
Chris would practice a few days a week. You want to talk about seeing a guy who was super dedicated? That guy was super dedicated.
Is he a
You may
guitar
say,
player?
no, singer, lead singer, magician. He was trying to do like Ozzy meets Alice Cooper, and on stage try to do some shocking things with his magic.
Hmm. Interesting.
He used to
I
teach.
had no idea.
He used to teach the guy that played the judge on Night Court.
Yeah.
He taught other magicians. He used to.
Oh, wow.
Interestingly enough, yeah.
So, any interesting like conversations between you and Chris Angel over the years?
I mean, a lot of times we would, I let him hear my tapes and stuff. A lot of times we would talk about and see how dedicated he was to what he's doing. You could
Yeah.
see he 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 took it like a job,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of times investors and producers would come and see him, and he took it like a job. It
Yeah.
wasn't like other guys. take rehearsal like jerk off time.
Right.
He didn't do that. It was like, it's work time. You punch the clock
Mm-hmm.
and you get to work. And there's very few people like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have skills. You can hone your skills to the point your skills now outshine your talent.
Yeah.
But you got to start somewhere. And the guy had obviously a lot of talent. And what happens is you have to do it like a job. I mean,
Right.
we could sit here every week. You can interview people, and they can be like, I just fell into it. You can, but
Yeah.
at some point, after doing it for the 999th time, hey, it better look easy. I mean, I'm not a magician.
Right.
I don't go home and practice my tricks. I go home and practice, my bass playing or my acting or my directing. I'm always figuring out how to, you know, present something on stage. That's what we do, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
Hey,
the
tell
idea of
people
the
about
agent.
your directing. So I know people are going to be interested in like something that maybe real kooky that's happened like on a film set over the years with an
Oh, there's
actress
been
or
some
whatever.
kooky stuff. There's been some kooky stuff.
Come on,
The
tell us, Sal. Don't hold
I'll
back.
tell you. Here's an interesting story, and it's happened a few times
Okay.
because you make a deal with a local pub to film. The pub, the pub is like, we got to get paid. And one time, I was like, hey man, can't you wait? We're gonna buy $200 worth of liquor once we're done filming.
Yeah.
And the guy, being a knucklehead, was trying to get the money and the liquor sold so he could tell the boss, hey, I got $200 in the till. So
Mm-hmm.
as I'm filming, he keeps pouring liquor till he hits the $200 mark or more. So now, when you say action, everybody's like upright. By the ninth time, everybody, you can see the whole room tilted and flaring. Ooh, action. You want everybody to pantomime or talk quietly. They're
Right.
like, I mean, picture a room about 35, 45 people,
Right.
all leaning to one, like keeling over. It's the
Sure.
funniest.
Little
Might
inebriated.
not be funny now, but it'll be, my stories aren't as funny now. You had to been there.
No, 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 man. I get
I
it.
gotta, I gotta hide some stuff, I guess.
I know. I understand. I got to believe there's been some crazy stuff that, dealing with actresses over the years where something really crazy's happened with an actress. Like she hasn't shown up or she's shown up and just like
Well,
not been there
yeah,
mentally.
yes, the same actress, without giving
Okay.
her name, working on a project. So I call her up because when you're doing it low budget, this is a few years ago, and you're starting out, you're the guy, you're everything, you know, bottle washer,
Oh, yeah.
baby, whatever the
What'd the
saying is.
actress do, Sal?
Okay, you ready for this? I
Ready.
call her. I'll see you Monday. Your call time is 11 a.m. She's like, I can't come on the set. My manager needs to speak to you. So when I call the manager goes, well, you're doing this big movie, really big movie. I need you to give her X amount of money. I need to get a platter and put some money and give it to us. I said, oh, really? I hung up on him and I called her and I said, listen, let me ask you a question. I mean, this is not going to sound great, but
Yeah.
uh, when we get together, um, are you on time? She's like, not really. You have me wait, right? Yeah. I go, you come to my house, you have me wait. I go to your house, you have me wait. It's my time, right?
Yeah.
And I go, let me ask you something. When we rehearse, is it a rehearsal or is it more or less I'm teaching you acting? She goes, you're right. I'll see you Monday. Not only that,
Yeah.
not only did she show up, she gave me a $1,200 check.
What?
She
Give you
realized,
money to be in your film?
yep,
Wow, Sal. That'll buy a
she
few drinks at the
realized
bar.
she realized what she was getting. And to
Yeah.
this day, she didn't do much acting. My
Mhm.
friend put her in a movie, and she kind of bombed.
Yeah.
She gave her a little spot. I gave her a very big spot. I sometimes give people bigger spots than they deserve, because I'm trying to stretch them. But they don't realize that it's like wrestling. If you're coming up, you listen to the people above you.
Yeah.
You listen to the people to the side of you. You listen to the managers, the promoters,
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
referee. You listen to your trainer. But when you stretch a guy and he doesn't listen, and then he just like a rubber band goes back to where, you're dealing with human nature. Human nature is people want to stick in their little zone,
Sure.
but with acting, you want to stretch. And what happens is when a guy doesn't want to stretch, you got to let them go back to, like in wrestling, it's a mid carder. The guy
Hmm.
goes back to just fighting in the mid card, and who gives a hoot. Everyone wants to fight Hulk Hogan. At
Right.
least, at least go to the Super Bowl and lose is better than never going to the Super Bowl, right?
Sure.
And so what happens is we want to go to the Super Bowl, and so we treat everything like it's the Super Bowl. I do. I always give a performance when I can. But this gal realized it, and she didn't realize it enough, because where she could have had an amazing career because she had something to her personality. But I think she finally realized it. It's not just your personality. You have to hone your skills.
Righto. Righto. Well, hey,
Yeah.
now, like you have just in the process of finishing um, a comedy film based upon mobster characters, and it's just so
Oh,
relevant for this weekend. What is the name of the film that you just got
oh my
done?
goodness. Good Friday to you too, and the rest of the week look good. It's called Good Friday. I play an
Okay.
Italian priest called Anello Bello, which
Hmm.
has a nice ring to it.
Yeah.
And uh, what happens is I play a priest that gets caught between the hierarchy and the political machine of the church. I mean, all comedy has nothing to do with truth. I'm not insinuating anything. And
No,
the
man,
five
it's all good.
families and the five families of the neighborhood. I just needed some. I grew up in Queens, where the rumor is that Madonna actually sang at the feast that I'm kind of spoofing, if that's true or not. But there's some stuff I actually should have put a girl in like Madonna. But anyway, long story short, uh, I'm spoofing the old neighborhood. Most of those characters existed. The priest didn't. Where the priest comes in
Uh-huh.
is that as a kid, the first celebrity I ever met was a visiting priest. And he came down the aisle and shook my hand.
Who
And
was
from
that?
that day on, I don't even know his name. From
Uh-huh.
that day on, I was like, whoa. He was like a visiting priest or a bishop, maybe a
Wow.
priest, arch. And one of the first autographs I ever got was from Reverend Fulton
Hmm.
Sheen,
Okay.
who was like a big rock star in the Catholic Church. Anyway, long story short, it's a cute movie. It's got a lot of 80s vibe. It's not a lot of cursing or shenanigans like that. But I think we're going to have fun. We're going to come and do a premiere out in Texas.
Nice. We can't wait to have
I'm
you
going to
out
have
in
to,
Texas.
I'm going to put on my cassock, which is the long priest dress with some spurs.
There you go.
I'll
There
be
you go.
punching some doggies. Do people punch doggies in Texas anymore?
Punch doggies?
Yeah. Now, that's you know, I think that's a saying that the cowboys, when they bring in, when they grab the cattle, brand the cattle, bring the cat,
Uh, I don't
I
know,
guess
man. I'm more, I'm
farming,
more I'm more of a cosmopolitan cowboy that like I drive a car, I don't drive a horse.
that's okay. I mean,
It's all
listen,
good,
we
brother.
have all these modern necessities that I think those old ideals have gone away. I
Right.
mean, you don't, it's like we grew up maybe with those movies where the guy rode the horse, tied it to the pole, went inside and got a drink. Doesn't happen anymore because everybody zips around with their little smart cars, smartphones, smart Botox injections.
Everybody's trying to be smart. Okay, tell us about your other movie that you were just in where you play a pizza guy.
Oh well, that's not fully done, but I can tell you what I can tell you.
Yeah, tell us a little.
Not really just playing a pizza guy. There's a little bit more to it. It's a teaser called "For the
You're
Love of
making me
Pizza."
hungry, Sal. Quit talking about pizza.
I love pizza.
I'm
We
gonna
all
eat
love
pizza after we're done with this, man.
Why not? I'm actually going to Long Beach to a place called JJ's or something, and have a little brunch.
Right.
So I play a guy that goes undercover in a pizzeria to get his man. I just
Okay.
might be an Italian American or Italian hitman, and I don't want to give too much away because it's a teaser. It's a point of content. I mean, it's a proof of concept being created.
Yeah.
Around me and a few other people, where I play a character called Chow, or at least
Okay.
that's what is figured out, is that's my name, because I don't speak much. We figured on doing something that's closer to a Marcel Marceau or Charlie Chaplin. I mean, people speak around me.
Yeah.
I don't speak too much. Uh, you'll
Okay.
see. You're gonna.
Well, we're excited for it. You're you're
I'm.
you're
Listen,
like the Hitman Pizza guy, right?
yeah, I mean, I go undercover in the pizza. I'm very excited because I have um, a movie coming out where I play a Brazilian drug lord, arms dealer. Um, Molotov
Right.
Squad. I'm in High Hopes. I'm in
Okay.
Golden Phoenix. I'm in Good Friday. We're filming some. We filmed last week something called Death by Spell, Agatha's story.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, War, uh, War Retroactive. I mean, I've got about a half a dozen or more movies coming out. I'm working on Please Kill Me. So there's a few things cooking. I had a
Beautiful.
meeting yesterday for a few projects. So we'll see. God
Beautiful.
willing, knock on wood, right?
All
And
righty.
knock on wood that
So we're going to give away for everybody to, be able to know your projects going on. So that's going to be posted in the show notes, Sal.
uh,
So do you want to like share with anybody like your Facebook or anything like that, or you want me to just put it in the show notes?
yeah, put it in the show notes. I don't like to sound like so, you know, you see what you get. I'm just
Right.
laid back.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
didn't tell it. I'll save the better stories for the when the movie comes out, and we'll have another one of
Absolutely,
these
man.
really cool roundups.
So I'll go ahead and promote what I'm going to promote.
Thank you.
Dawn, go ahead. Tell everybody what you're up to.
Okay, so I have a lot of different things I'm dabbling in right now, but my biggest thing that I'm doing is I just ventured into real estate. So I'm trying to get out there and get my name out there, build a business around it. I'm not looking at it as just a career because I have, other businesses and stuff that I do. But it's the thing that of my main point of interest right now, as far as, finance driven, income and stuff. So I'm hoping to, bring in a lot of clientele. So that way I can get more and more experience through serving. I've only been doing it actually actively for a couple weeks. I have had my license for a few months, but
Yeah.
with my
Yeah.
other businesses, I've been busy, but I've already getting clients flooding in. And I'm so familiar with the loan side, the financial side, because I own my own independent contract processing company for
Right.
mortgage loans. So I'm so versed in the loan side that people are starting to be drawn to me because I'm not only able to help them on the real estate side, I'm kind of like their liaison between them and their mortgage company. So I'm helping them with all their paperwork. So they're like, wow, this is actually becoming an easier process when I have somebody that knows both sides of it, that can walk me through everything. So, but anyway, that's what I do. I'm on, I have a website that will be posted up afterwards so people can reach me through there to do that. I do fitness, I'm like been into fitness for a long time, so considered kind of like a fitness guru and nutrition guru and things like that. And I do actually have links on there where people can chat with me to hook up with me to get some information on that, as far as, helping them, stay fit and things like that.
My name is John Selswarrior. You can see right here. And I've been professionally selling for 32 years. And I can tell you over that time period, I realized it is important that you have daily motivation to do your job. Come Monday morning, it can be very difficult. One, to get out of bed sometimes. Two, to send the emails, do the follow-ups, do the phone calls, ask for the business. Again, sales can be a difficult job. And the number one thing that I help people with is that very short period of time between not taking action and taking action. I create the fire to take action. Therefore, when you have that fire to take action, you can get more results. And that's what I strategize to help people to do. And I do it easily. I have a book on Amazon. It's called Sales Warrior. And I have a course on Teachable. It's called Sales Warrior Bootcamp Module 1. Sales Warrior Bootcamp Module 1 is 3 days of instruction, video, inspiration, audio, and it's designed to be taken in 1 hour auction because I want to stay connected to you and I want to continue to inspire you, and there's no added cost to do that. Now, right now, I have my Sales Warrior Bootcamp on sale. My Sales Warrior Bootcamp is normally $3.99. I have it on special for $1.99. And with it, you get my book for free. That's it. Thanks, guys.
Oh, I love that. Everyone, give my friend John Sales Warrior as much love as you can.
Thank you, Sal. Love you, brother. Well, this concludes Schools Out 80s Comedy Story Time. We hope we're informative. I mean, how often do you have somebody that you can interview that's met Madonna, has met Chris Angel, has met Ace Frehley, and played on the same stage as Ace Frehley? I think we're downplaying this whole thing, Sal. If
I like to keep it. I think when the movie comes out, we'll say a lot more because there's 35 recognizable people in my movie.
Yeah.
Some are about to explode.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a couple of names.
Okay.
We have guys that were in Sopranos. We have one particular guy, right? Mike Verna, Man of Steel, just appeared on The Equalizer with Queen Latifah.
Okay.
He's in AEW.
Mm-hmm.
We have a couple of good guys. So I'd rather meet again after the movie's out. Right now we're editing. We're beat up because we're staying up till 3 a.m. editing. And we're in the middle of doing some things. I think once this show is over, I'm going to put ice on my face so I bring the swelling down so I don't look like Mickey Rourke.
All good. All good. Hey,
I'd love to have a career.
Yeah.
Right. And so when we're going to meet again after the movie comes out, and we're going to discuss the 35 plus recognizable faces in the movie and talk about some other celebrities and where we got this inspiration from the 70s and 80s. And that's the type of movie we're doing with that type of flavor. We're spoofing a little bit Goodfellas and Bronx Tale. It's got its own unique vibe.
Ah, love it. Love it, man. Hey, you want to hear a funny story before we sign out?
Of course.
Well, it's actually a joke. Somebody told it to me the other day, but it's worth repeating. So this elderly couple goes into the lawyer's office. And when I say elderly, Sal, I'm talking like 92 and 94. And they go into the lawyer's office, and the lawyer can't understand, why are these old people coming into my office, right? So they sit down, and you know what they confide in him?
Tell me.
They're seeking a divorce.
Oh, geez.
And again, it's a joke. It's a story. And so the lawyer's taken back. Like, you're seeking a divorce? Folks, I mean, you've been married 60 plus years, and you have, you've raised a beautiful family. He knows them. And he's like, why on earth are you picking now to get divorced?
Right.
And you know what they say, Sal?
Tell me.
Our children finally died.
Oh, geez. Wow, that's some joke. Are our children finally moved out?
No, man, dude, they're in their 90s. Their children were older.
The kids died. That means the kids had to be in their 60s or 70s.
I know, man. Well, a lot of times people wait to get divorced until the kids get out of high school. when you're in your 90s, you wait to get divorced until your kids pass.
Holy
It might,
smokes, bro.
it might not be the
Good one.
kindest joke, Sal, but hopefully it helps people with their health.
Hey, look, jokes are supposed to be a little mix of tragedy and comedy, and a little bit of like, hey, huh? You see, you know what I'm
Take you
saying?
back, right, man?
Like, hold on a sec. Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
It doesn't have to be all clean cut. Like, hey, I tripped over there on a banana peel. It's got to make you think. Well, anyway, John, thanks so much.
Life's for living, man, and we got to cut up and we got to laugh. That's why I'm really excited for your comedy film to come out. I am all about mobster movies.
Oh, you're gonna have. There's some funny lines in there, the funny moments, and I mean Artie Pasquale from Sopranos, who's Bert Jarvis, Jeff Fat Rat Bastard Priami. Sadly, he passed, but
Yeah,
before he passed, we got him to. I mean, there's some great guys. Cha Cha, Pat Maroney.
oh man, it's gonna be awesome, Sal. It's gonna be
There's
awesome. We can't wait to have you down in Dallas to promote it.
35 or more recognizable faces.
It's gonna be
Nobody,
awesome, my friend.
very few of my cohorts or colleagues make a movie with 35 recognizable faces, like I did. I mean, they would have to have a lot more money than I did. I just was very resourceful.
Oh no, man, you outdid yourself. People are going to be excited to see it. Hey, we're going to sign out now. School's Out 80s Comedy Story
Peace out.
Time with our amazing guest today, Sal Ranella, coming to us all the way from Long Island, New York. Sal, in your best New York gangster accent, say goodbye to my audience.
Hey, everybody, take it easy. Chill out a little bit. Have a little pasta, I would say, you know what? Have a cannoli and have a manicotti. It's Easter. Happy Easter, everybody. Take it
There
easy.
you go. Happy Easter, everybody. And,
Ciao.
And if somebody offers you some concrete boots, might not be a good day for you.
Run. See you, John.
Absolutely, my brother. And from Dallas, Texas, this is a wrap.